The film I enjoyed most this week was something of a surprise. Nyad, which has been out on Netflix for a week or so, sounds like a description. A Nyad is a sea nymph from Greek mythology, but it turns out to be the name of long-distance swimmer Diane Nyad. Nyad stars Annette, who I admire but occasionally find a little overpowering. As it turns out, is Nyad herself.
Listen to this.
Tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life?
Don't you want to be fully awake? Your soul ignited by a purpose.
Oh, God. Oh, I'm serious.
That again.
It also stars Jodie Foster, who I like rather more, despite a career often playing solitary women going out of their way to fend off anyone's sympathy. An unlikely candidate for a buddy movie is what I'm saying, and yet that's what this is. But first, let's go back.
Everybody's gotta live.
Diane Nyad, world champion marathon swimmer.
The swim I want to do is 60 hours. That's Cuba to Florida.
Diane Nyad, that's her with Johnny Carson, was a high-achieving athlete in her 20s. She'd swum round the island of Manhattan and also from the Bahamas to Florida. But it was the horrendous swim from Cuba to the Florida Keys that almost killed her, and she retired for 30 years.
Hey, what's that?
What?
That raccoon eyes. Have you been swimming?
Yes, I have.
Wow, look at you, swimmer. Okay, wow. What's it been, like 30 years since you put on a pair of goggles?
That's right.
How'd it feel?
Great. Came right back to me.
But it was an itch that she couldn't stop scratching, and at 60, she decided to have another crack at it. For this, she needed help from her longtime friend Bonnie Stoll as her coach.
Absolutely not. No, that's insane, Diana. You tried that when you were 28, and you did not make it when you're 28. You're 60.
I don't believe in imposed limitations. The only one who gets to decide if I'm through is me.
Nyad is being sold as a sort of LGBTQ sports story, but while Diana and Bonnie are lesbian, it's not what's driving the story of Nyad. It's about one woman's almost insane drive to do a pretty much impossible feat. And it's about another woman who's prepared to do whatever it takes to help out of simple friendship.
It's 100 miles or 60 hours of constant swimming. But what I'm most afraid of is sharks and man of war. I just know I can do it, and I couldn't do it without you.
We watch Bonnie patiently pushing Diana into training longer and harder while putting together a support team to help make it happen. The main thing they need is a good navigator, which was where her last attempt failed. Bonnie's candidate, a man called John Bartlett, tells Diana he's not surprised.
You can have all the pedigree in the world, but if you haven't sailed here, if you haven't put in your 10,000 hours, these countercurrents, these eddies, it's like getting a frickin' horse trainer to install your dishwasher.
That's poetic.
Step outside with me for a minute.
What surprised me was the casting of quirky character actor Rhys Ifans, playing it dead straight for once as a hard-bitten seafarer. He's good in Nyad, opposite Annette. They fight all the time. But he's even better playing with Jodie Foster as the Ron and Hermione to Diana Nyad's Harry Potter, the self-appointed chosen one.
Onward.
Onward.
100 miles of serious currents in the open ocean.
It just might cost you your life.
They don't believe that Cuba to Florida is humanly possible.
The swim takes place. It's exhausting. You don't know how she does it. There are sharks and worse, all sorts of ultra-poisonous jellyfish, including the infamous man-o'-war. And she doesn't make it, but she refuses to quit.
What you want to do has never been done.
I mean, especially not for a woman. Especially not for someone your age.
Everybody's gotta live.
Get her out!
You gotta breathe. Diana, breathe now.
So she does it again and again and again. She wears everyone down, mostly because she refuses to think of anyone or anything but this one thing she means to do. And somehow we find ourselves sticking with her when all we want to do is quit. And that's thanks to one person. Take a bow, Jodie Foster.
4 tries and 4 failures.
You really don't get it, do you? You don't even think of me.
Of course I think about you.
I watched you die. But this isn't about you, okay? This is about me for once.
I have the greatest respect for Annette Bening, who's amazing as always, but you can see her doing it. With Jodie, you don't see anything until the end of the scene when you realise you're completely bowled over and often in tears. The last time I saw Jodie Foster in a buddy movie was Maverick, where she made Mel Gibson lovable. That's how good she is, and that's why you should see Nyad.
You are a force.
Diana, you got this! There's no one more Nyad than you.
Everybody's gotta live.
I believe the real-life Diane Nyad tends to play fast and loose with the facts at times. She's famous for being an incorrigible attention seeker, often with the real-life Bonnie Stoll rolling her eyes in the background. It doesn't matter. This is one of those times when the film is better than the facts. When truth becomes legend, this is the legend.